Let me talk about why people don't buy. Let me just go through this. This is my acronym, Mount Nut. It's a visual so you won't forget, right? There's 5 reasons customers don't buy. No money, no time, no need, no urgency, no trust, right? Money, time, need, urgency, trust. Everything falls under those categories. Listen carefully. It's never about the money. Listen to what I just said. It's never about the money. You could argue with me that maybe 5 or 10% of the people simply don't have the money, and I'm with you on that. But in the majority of cases, it's never about price. Too often, the first thing we do is we discount our products because we think that would help us sell. But as soon as you discount your product, what signal do you send the customer? Yeah, it's the worst signal. You actually validate their actual fears. It's never about the money. Study after study has shown it's never about price. Many of you, tell me if I'm right or wrong, have you ever bought something that cost just a little bit more, but you bought it from somebody you trust, right? We've all done that. It's never about time. Show me the value, I'll make the time. Tell me I need it, that's not enough. The key phrase here is urgency. See, our job as salespeople is to create a sense of urgency. And sometimes the customer doesn't see it. They don't see it. They're so focused on price, they don't see how bad they need it. Let me give you an example. I want you to walk through this example with me. Let's say I'm an energy efficiency company. I walk into your house, I review your house, and then at the end of this, I show you a list, I hand you a clipboard. What type of clipboard? God, you're good, you're good. A heavy clipboard, and on there is a list of all the things you can do to improve the energy efficiency in your house. And then I would say something like this: what do you think? Would you like to go ahead and do this? When they did that only, close rates were only 15%. Now, they said, how could we improve that? Listen carefully because this is important. See, sometimes it's not about the product, it's not about the service, it's how you frame the conversation. Watch what happens when you just change a few words. So here's what they did. Same thing, go to the house, review the house, present the list, put it on a heavy clipboard, hand it to the customer, go through the list, and then they say something like this: Mr. Customer, if you were to add up all these energy inefficiency in your house, that would be the equivalent of having a hole the size of a basketball in your wall. And if you had a hole that big in your wall, wouldn't you want to fix it? Get it? Bam. Close rates went up to 61%. Because what did I put in your head now? What visual did I put in your head? What did you see going through that hole? Money, right? And all of a sudden, it's how I position it. It's not about price, it's how you position your product. Using visuals, did you know you're 43% more likely to sell? Did you also know that clients are willing to pay more when you use visuals? So never show up without samples. Lastly, if you don't use visuals, people will forget the majority of what you say within 24 hours. Isn't that shocking? It should be depressing at this point. I'll give you an example of what happens when our customers focus too much on the price. Because I know your situation. Sometimes the customer is just looking at the price, and you almost want to reach across the table, slap them in the head, and say, look, pay attention, I'm trying to create some urgency for you, but they're not getting it, right? Now, you can't do that. Please, I'm not advocating that. But mentally, you have to what? Wake them up. Let me give you an example. This is a true story. So I have a UPS post box, right? Now, I don't get a lot of mail anymore. So I'm talking to Sandy at the UPS store. And I said, Sandy, you know, I'm paying $220 per year. I just noticed the small ones. I'm not getting a lot of mail. I might want to go with a small one. Because in my mind, I'm thinking it's a savings of what? $60. $60 is $60. I don't know about you, but that's 12 lattes at Starbucks, right? More or less. That's my math, right? Now, she saw in my face that I wanted to go for the cheaper option. And I can see her look. She had that Clint Eastwood gunslinger look. Oh, something's about to go down. She's going to sell me, right? She's looking at me. She's going to sell me. And then you know when somebody's about to give you the sales pitch, you kind of mentally brace yourself. It looks like this, right? But mentally I'm like, all right, why should I stay with the big one? And I knew what she was going to say. I knew what she was going to say. She's going to say, Victor, you want to stay with the bigger mailbox. You want to pay that extra $60. Here's why, Victor. It's easier access. Bigger is better. It's more convenient for you, Victor. And then she's going to say, you don't have to pick up your mail as often because it's a bigger box. And guess what? Your mailbox won't get jammed, right? You can handle, letters won't get crushed. You can handle packages. Victor, you want to stay with that. But that's not what she said. Here's what she said. She said, Victor, I can see your rationale. You want to save $60. I get that. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Now, when somebody says, let me ask you a question, just brace yourself, right? Because it's coming. She said, let me ask you a question. I said, yeah, what? Because I got attitude at this point. What? You know, what? And she said, let me ask you a question. I said, what? I said, you realize that if you change your box, you'll also have to change your address. I said, so? Then she said, she goes, you'll also have to change the information on your business card. I looked at her up and down. I didn't care, right? I said, yeah. She said, you'll also have to change the information on your website, so if you don't actually build your website, you have to hire somebody to do that for you. And Victor, on top of that, you'll have to change all the information on your promotional material. Last but not least, you'll have to contact all your clients to let them know that your address has changed. Victor, final question to you. How much time and money is that going to cost you? Man, I looked her dead in the face. And I said, just renew it. That's all. What could you say? What could you say? Because what she managed to do, clients are always focused right here on the price. Your goal is to, it's back here why they really need it, the urgency. Your job is to bring it top of mind, front and center, and that's our job. Again, it's not about the price, it's understanding urgency. Now, here's some conclusions.